Hello, my friend, thank you for being here today. Before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever loved so deeply that your heart felt like it was on fire, so strong, so unstoppable, that no wall inside you could survive that flame? That is the love of Aries. It's not a gentle love song. It's the beating drum of a beginning. It's the fire that can change your entire life. And what I'm about to share with you is not just about love. It's about healing, about awakening, about discovering a new way of seeing yourself. So let me take you now into the very first layer of this story, where the fire begins to rise. The fire, when it first bursts into the darkness, it doesn't just bring light, it changes everything around it. For Aries, love is the same. It's not a passing breeze, not a gentle wave, but an explosion of flame echoing through the heart. It awakens, it shakes you, and it pulls you into a journey you never imagined you would take. Have you ever felt love so strong? It burned through every defense you've ever built. With Aries, love doesn't wait for permission. It shoots straight into the heart, like a burning arrow, tearing down every wall, exposing the most vulnerable and honest part of you. Aries doesn't understand going slow. They don't know what it means to try and see. When they love, it's a reckless leap into fire, falling in love. No, for Aries, it is leaping into fire, a leap with no pause, no retreat, no detour. They dive in not because they don't feel fear, but because love itself is stronger than fear. In the flickering light of Aries' love, you see something profound. This fire isn't here just to keep you warm. It's here to transform. It shines into the hidden corners you've long kept closed, forcing you to look at yourself again. Because Aries doesn't love with reason. They love with a soul that craves truth, that longs to touch the purest essence of the one in front of them. People often say to love Aries is to love a wild flame. But what most don't see is that this flame is also a lantern, a guiding light on the dark path of life, reminding you that you are worthy of living fully, worthy of being loved, and of loving without fear. When the Aries heart ignites, you feel the whole universe tremble with it. Small moments turn into powerful signs, a look that lingers a second too long, a simple word that keeps you awake all night. Every detail carries the fire's light, and within that light lies a healing message. The fire of Aries doesn't burn you down to ash. It burns so that you can be reborn. When you are loved by an Aries, you learn this truth: no one needs to keep hiding their shadows, because fire does not fear the dark. It needs the dark to blaze even brighter. And when you stand before this flame, you face a choice: step back and cling to the safety you've always known, or step in and allow this love to reshape your very soul. It's not an easy choice, but in that challenge lies a timeless lesson. To truly love, you must be willing to open, willing to be vulnerable, and willing to be healed. As Americans often say, love is not safe, but it's worth it. And Aries' love is the clearest proof of that. It is never safe. It is never easy, but it is always worth it. Because Aries loves with courage, and in that courage they hand you a mirror to see the strength inside yourself. Yes, sometimes you may feel overwhelmed, as if this fire burns too hot, too bright. But if you stop, breathe, and listen with your heart, you will realize something powerful. This flame has not come to destroy you. It has come to teach you how to burn, how to step out of your comfort zone, how to find the light within yourself. And from that moment on, the story opens into deeper layers, because this fire is not meant to be admired from a distance. It invites you closer, to feel its warmth, to uncover truths that very few have ever dared to touch. The truth that Aries' love is a secret almost no one tells you. But once you stand before this light, once you feel the breath of this flame, you'll know this is not the end of the story. It's only the doorway, leading you into hidden truths, deeper emotions, and the realization that Aries' love is not just fire. It is the journey of a soul brave enough to live honestly, to love with everything, and to change the world around them with the fire they carry. When people speak of love, they often imagine something gentle, soft, measured, a path taken with careful steps. But with Aries, everything is different. They don't enter love with caution. They charge in like a warrior carrying an eternal flame in their heart. Aries doesn't know how to love halfway. They don't come to test, they don't come to measure. When their heart is moved, they give it all, as if their whole life was meant for one great love. Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of warriors, of beginnings, of blazing pioneers. That's why their love always carries the spirit of conquest, not to possess, but to affirm a deeper truth, that love has the power to transform a soul. For them, love is not just a feeling, it is a vow, a commitment, a fearless leap into a journey both challenging and full of light. Aries doesn't approach you to ask if you're ready. They arrive to burn through your fears, to remind you that you are stronger than you've ever believed. But that light, sometimes it overwhelms. When the torch of Aries shines directly into your hidden darkness you cannot escape, old wounds, memories you've buried deep, suddenly rise to the surface. Not to hurt you more, but to tell you it's time to face them, it's time to heal. Aries doesn't love to hold you. They love to awaken you. They don't place love in a safe box, they let it burn free, alive, like their very breath. To be loved by Aries is an extraordinary experience. It gives you joy, yes, but it also pushes you to look deeper, to see the parts of yourself you once refused to admit. That is the healing power of Aries. In their love, you'll discover a profound lesson: true love is never possession. It is light that helps another see themselves. It is the hand that pulls you out of fear. It is the reminder that you are worthy of living authentically, worthy of being loved exactly as you are. And once you realize this, you understand love is not only two hearts meeting, but a journey for each soul to grow into its fullest self. If one day you find yourself standing in the bright flame of an Aries, let yourself be seen. Let that love open doors you've never dared to step through. And when you do, you'll understand this love is not only for the two of you, it carries something greater, a value for life itself, for society, for the growth of an entire generation. Aries loves like a warrior, but their victory is not in holding someone tight. Their victory is in igniting the hidden strength within you, in seeing you brave enough to walk your own path, carrying your own light. They are not afraid of loss because for them, love has never been a prison. The love of Aries is liberation. And once you've walked with them this far, you begin to see, beneath the blazing fire, there are deeper layers still. For Aries brings not only strength, but strange, unspoken journeys, phases that few ever mention, but ones that are the most vital parts of their love story. It's when the first spark turns into a heat that spreads through your soul, breaking down every wall, every limit, leading you into an experience that very few have ever dared to enter. Some love stories begin with slow, careful steps, hesitant, cautious, almost afraid to move. But the love of Aries begins like a sudden fire in the night. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't ask for permission. It arrives like a wave of raw energy, throwing your heartbeat off rhythm, making you wonder if the universe is secretly sending you a message. This is the very first stage of Aries' love awakening of fire. You start to notice strange signals, recurring dreams, songs that play at the exact moment you're thinking of them, coincidences that feel far too precise to be random. When Aries falls in love, their energy collides with yours, like two currents of electricity meeting in midair. And no, it's not an illusion. It's the universe whispering. A new journey has begun and you are standing before a flame that could change your life forever. Then the fire moves into the second stage, breaking of walls. Aries does not come so you can hide forever in your safe shell. They come to break it open. Every wall you've built out of fear, out of old wounds, out of masks you've worn for years begins to crumble under their flame. At first, you resist. You feel fear when those defenses collapse. But in the eyes of Aries, you realize the truth: they are not breaking to destroy. They are breaking to truly see you, to pull you out of the invisible cage where you've kept your soul locked away for far too long. And the moment those walls fall, light rushes in. A light so bright it stuns you, because it doesn't just reveal your beauty, it exposes the shadows you've been hiding. And that is the third stage descent into depth. Through their burning love, Aries becomes a mirror for your soul. In that mirror, you see both your purest light and your most complicated darkness. It's not comfortable, but it is necessary if you want to heal. Aries is not afraid of your darkness. They stand there, torch in hand, inviting you to look straight at the truth. They remind you that love is not only sweetness, it is the courage to face what you've never dared to touch. In their eyes, you no longer have to hide. You no longer have to pretend. You are allowed to be fragile, allowed to be imperfect, and still allowed to grow into someone stronger, someone more whole. Whoever dares to love with fire must also dare to face the deepest truths within themselves. Aries does not give you a safe love. They give you something rarer, a chance to grow, to transform, to be free. They will walk with you into the dark, not to let you fall, but to remind you that the light has never left. It has always been inside you, waiting to be awakened. And within these three stages, awakening, breaking, and reflection, you come to see why Aries love is both terrifying and sacred. It teaches that love is not just sweetness to enjoy. It is a human lesson of responsibility, of commitment, of courage to face yourself. And when you've walked through these stages with Aries, you begin to feel something even deeper. Their love doesn't only carry the fire of a warrior, it carries the energy of healing. It's not only about passion, it's about lifting you, sharing with you, carrying some of your wounds, and transforming them into strength. And that's when you realize Aries is not just a lover. They are a warrior, a healer, a soul the universe has sent to walk with you on your journey. In a world of fleeting romances, Aries rises like a warrior moving against the current. They don't just give you explosive passion. They stand beside you, ready to fight battles you thought you had to carry alone. With Aries, love is never just an emotional adventure. It's a vow, a commitment that says, I will be here. Even when darkness surrounds you, even when your wounds feel beyond healing. Aries carries the power of Mars, the planet of warriors. But this warrior knows more than conquest. They also know responsibility. In love, they turn the fire in their heart into strength, burning away hidden pain, unspoken wounds you've been too afraid to face. Much like Pisces absorbs karma to heal, Aries uses fire to transform. They don't avoid the dark. They step straight into it, light in hand, proving that even scars can become strength. In a world already full of brokenness, Aries love feels like a sacred flame. It doesn't promise to be gentle, but it promises to be real. That flame doesn't hide, doesn't lie, doesn't trap you in illusions. It makes you face the truth, sometimes painfully, but always completely. Because Aries understands only when you face it, only when you burn through it, can wounds truly begin to heal. There's something few people realize. Aries fights for love, and sometimes they fight battles you didn't even know you were carrying. They'll fight for you, and at times fight inside you against fears, against shadows you've buried deep. To be loved by an Aries is to never feel alone. The burdens that once bowed your head are suddenly shared by a hand strong enough to lift them with you. Yes, Aries love can exhaust you because its intensity is raw, unfiltered, uncompromising. But within that fire lies a priceless lesson. Love is not only sweet promises, it is the willingness to walk together through every trial. In the light of Aries' flame, you realize love isn't about avoiding pain, it's about facing it, not about forgetting, but about healing. And if you let your heart grow still, you'll see Aries doesn't come to swing the sword for you forever. They come to teach you how to hold your own. They don't promise to shield you from every storm. They show you that you are strong enough to walk through it. And on that path, their fire becomes your lantern. Step by step, you learn to carry the flame within yourself. When that fire becomes part of your life, you begin to sense something greater than romance alone. It feels collective, healing. A reminder that in a world so full of wounds, we all need a real flame, we all need a hand that truly stands beside us. And Aries in love is the living symbol of that light. But the deeper you go, the more you discover a paradox. That very strength, that very intensity can become the greatest challenge, because not everyone can stand inside the fire without trembling. Not everyone dares to let a love this real shine its light into them. And this is where the story takes you further, to the hidden side of Aries love, where intensity reveals its shadow, and you must face the question: are you brave enough to keep walking in the fire, or will you step back, seeking the safer comfort of gentler flames? Some loves arrive softly, like a gentle piece of music, but the love of Aries is different. It comes like a storm of fire, too real, too direct, too strong. For many, it is the greatest gift they've ever received, and at the same time, the hardest trial to endure, because standing inside that flame, you cannot pretend, you cannot hide, you cannot keep a safe distance. Aries loves with all their intensity. They speak what they feel, they act on what they believe, and they give everything they have, holding nothing back. And because of this, many hearts unprepared for such force find themselves overwhelmed. It is not Aries' fault, and it is not yours. It is simply the truth of fire. It can warm you, but it can also burn. So many stories with Aries have ended suddenly, not because the love vanished, not because the fire went out, but because the one standing beside them was not ready to live within such intensity. They stepped back. They chose safety. They chose smaller flames easier to bear. But deep inside, the memory of Aries remains, like a mark that never fades, because that flame touched the deepest place within them, a place no one else had ever reached. And here lies the human lesson, simple yet profound. Not every love comes to stay forever. Some loves arrive only to awaken, to remind you that your heart still knows how to feel, to open a new way of seeing yourself. And once you have awakened in that fire, you walk forward, carrying the light Aries left behind. That is the truth of Aries love, a journey both beautiful and fierce, healing and challenging. It teaches us that the greatest love is not always about holding on to each other, but about being transformed by each other. When Aries steps into your life, they don't come so you will belong to them forever. They come to remind you that you are worthy of true love, love that has no fear, no half measures, no lies. And you, listening now, maybe you have loved or been loved by an Aries. Take a moment to reflect. What remains in your heart from that fire? Have you ever loved or been loved by an Aries? Share your story below, because your truth might be the healing another soul needs today. A single story, a moment that feels so personal to you, could be the light that helps someone else out there feel less alone. Within the intensity and challenge Aries brings lies a hidden gift, growth. And when you learn how to walk through that storm of fire, you begin to see the deeper spiritual meaning of Aries love. A meaning that goes beyond two people, beyond romance, touching the very essence of the soul, opening a path where each of us can begin to understand what love truly is in its highest, most sacred form. Love, when it passes through the heart of Aries, does not stop at the first sparks of emotion. It becomes a sacred journey, one that leads you into spiritual depths few have ever touched. Because Aries doesn't just see who you are today, they see the potential of who your soul can become. They love you not only for who you are, but for who you could be if you allow their fire to ignite you. In Eastern philosophy, there's a saying, when fire shines, it does not create new light. It simply reveals the light that was already within you. And that is exactly what Aries does in love. They don't hand you a new identity. They don't invent a stranger for you to become. They reflect. They remind you that even in your darkest nights, your light has never left. Aries is like a clear mirror, reflecting both light and shadow. In their eyes, you cannot choose to show only your brilliance and hide your darkness. They love both. They love the dreams, the hope, the faith within you. And they also stay when they see the fears, the wounds, the shadows you carry. That is the rare gift, to be seen completely. Nothing missing, nothing denied, no conditions. To be loved by Aries is to be seen completely, light and shadow, strength and fear, all of it honored. And perhaps this is something not everyone has ever known, because most of us have learned to hide parts of ourselves, afraid of rejection, afraid of judgment, afraid of not being accepted. But when Aries loves, they pull the curtain down. They invite you into the light, all that is beautiful and fragile, all that is strong and trembling. And then you discover a truth: you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You only have to be real. In that reflection, you slowly learn to accept yourself, not with forced acceptance, but with reconciliation. You learn to smile at your scars, to feel no shame for your tender moments. And it is here in this journey that you begin to find healing. Aries does not come to fix you. They come to show you. You are already enough. Enough to love, enough to live, enough to keep moving forward. That is why Aries love carries a human meaning deeper than any promise of forever. It reminds us that in a world full of pressure and expectation, what people long for is not only romance, but to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be fully accepted. And Aries love, even in its intensity, becomes a living proof. You are worthy of that acceptance. When your heart opens under the gaze of Aries, you realize this is not just a relationship. It is a meeting of souls, a moment that awakens you to a larger path, a path tied to karma, to destiny, to the purpose you were born to fulfill. And from that moment on, a question begins to rise inside you. If Aries love is the guiding flame, then what does this fire mean for your journey, for the karma you carry, for the destiny that lies ahead? When you listen closely to the spiritual meaning carried by Aries love, you begin to see one truth. This flame was never sent to cage you. It was never meant to bind you, never meant to turn you into someone else. This fire is here to open, to release, to help you see the doorway that has always been there waiting for you to be brave enough to step through. And then you understand Aries love is a gateway, a doorway into inner freedom, into the strength to stand tall in your truth, into the courage to live and to love without condition. The purpose of Aries love is not to hold you down, but to set you free, and that freedom lies not only in romance, but in the way you see yourself, in the way you choose to live your life. To be loved by Aries is to be given a gift, the gift of truth. It may hurt, it may confuse you, but through every crack the light begins to enter, and suddenly, you are no longer who you once were. You become a version of yourself forged in fire, stronger, clearer, and more compassionate. And if one day you feel Aries love pass through your life like a storm, remember that storm did not come to destroy you. It came to cleanse, to wash away, to open space where you can breathe again, where you can live again, where you can love again. It is the reminder that true love never seeks to possess. True love only seeks to set you free. Thank you, truly thank you, for allowing me to share this space with you today. Your time, your presence, they mean more than you know. And so I leave you with this blessing. May you find a love that awakens your soul, and may the fire within you always guide your path.